What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy 5 Star in Vegas, and I'm broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. This is the Wagering World. I'm in here with my co-host, been with me since day one, man, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spreadster? How are you today?
Man, I'm excited. We got a great day of college basketball tomorrow, and of course, some NBA Cup action in your city. So hey, let me know those scouting reports on who's actually getting some rest tonight and who's out like screw this tournament.
I actually am not probably going out to that tonight because me and the wife
I'm
have.
sure you'll have people text you. Just tell your boys, hey,
I have
send me a
somebody
text when they're leaving at 4 a.m. Still
we
wide
probably
awake.
need to reach out to Ski. That's
Yeah,
that's Ski's roaming time. We'll find out from him. Actually, me and Raheem are supposed to go to one of those NBA Cup. I think we're going tomorrow. I gotta check my schedule. I gotta do Christmas pictures with the wife and kids tomorrow, so I gotta make time for that sometime tomorrow evening as well. Man, it's been one of the weirder stories to come out in the sports world in a long time. Michigan. What the hell is going on in Ann Arbor? So what I've heard so far, Spread, is that whatever happened, him and his side piece that he made the number one mistake in is, first of all, if you're going to have a side piece, don't have her at work with you. Not only did he have her at work with him, he decided to make her an executive assistant. So she's following him around, and if he's cheating on his wife with you, he most likely has some other females around as well. And just a bonehead move all the way around by Sharon Moore. Just so crazy. I don't understand, guys. Like, I was single for a very long time, Spread. You're a single man now. You've never been married. I waited to get married till I was in my 30s, past midway point of my 30s, right? My wife and I have been dating longer than that, but I waited. I made her wait 10 years before we got married, so just because I wanted to make sure that I was serious. I don't understand why these dudes get married and then you're in these type of positions and you decide to allow another female to destroy everything you built all these years of work, and he ends up getting into it with the young girl, fires her on Monday. About Wednesday, the university had all the information about the affair, and he gets the axe. And a lot of people were already waiting for a reason to give Sharon Moore the axe. And then he emotionally spazzes out, ruined any opportunities that could have came about. He's so close with Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh is such a good dude and so loyal to his guys. I'm telling you, if Sharon Moore would have just took it on the chin, Spread, went to the podium, said, yeah, man, I screwed up. I appreciate all the time you guys gave me at Michigan. Me and my wife are going to go work this thing out. He would have been working for the Chargers probably next year, doing something out the way that you didn't see, but was making him a nice 6-figure salary. He's back into coaching and can move his way back up. But with him becoming emotional and going over here and threatening this lady because she ratted on him and telling her that he's going to kill himself and kill her, now he's in a padded room in the county. Just a horrible story, and all that time, all those years of work that he put in are just wasted for nothing. What do you think about Michigan story, Spread?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to add, and that's something I've learned doing these type of shows. You don't need to have an opinion on everything.
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, no hot take for me here. Obviously, it's pretty disappointing what happened, and it'll be interesting to see if there's a redemption story there. I mean, do you think that his resume is good enough to where another team would take a chance on him? I mean, you got to think a smaller school would, right?
A long time. It's going to be a long time, Spread, just because the second part, the first part was bad enough with him cheating on his wife and, dealing with a lady that he hired. And it just makes me so sad because unlike Ryan Clark, I don't think this affects all black hires. Like, I don't believe that at all. I still feel like if you're a good coach, you're going to get hired. And if you present yourself right, you're going to get hired regardless. But it's really upsetting when you got two of the biggest programs decides to roll with brothers and Mel Tucker and with Sharon Moore, and they both kind of fall in the same type of situation with just thinking with the head between their legs instead of the one that's on their shoulders. And that's one of the first rules of doing business, man. You have to be about your priorities, man. It's a million women in the world. Why did you want to have a woman at your job with you? So just a lesson. Now it's went from me. It started out, I was surprised with Sharon because, we were rooting for Sharon Moore because we called for him that he was going to be the coach probably before anyone. When Harbaugh was still coach of Michigan, we was like, he's going to be the first, black coach over in Michigan. He's going to be the coach next. And for him to get in there and do what he did, man, and then I started digging. This story made me kind of look into his past a little bit. And I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of a sucker. So now it's all caught up with him, unfortunately. And as most times with people, if you got skeletons in your closet and you're in a position where people can, analyze you, sooner or later, those skeletons are going to come out. And I just hate it for him, Spread. It went from me being at first surprised, second, I was angered. Like, man, what are you doing? Wasting an opportunity like this. But now it's kind of sad. They post them all in jail and stuff and making a mockery out of him. So I pray that he doesn't harm himself, first of all, and that he understands that, even though it's extremely embarrassing and he did some really dumb stuff, that you still got to wake up tomorrow and it'll be someone else who the world is laughing at tomorrow. So just keep going, just keep going and just keep praying. And sooner or later, one thing great about the United States of America is a lot of forgiveness stories. It's a lot of, triumphs. We see it, Robert Downey Jr. and guys like that. It's always redemption stories in America. So hopefully he's able to learn from this, man, and do like Michael Vick and come back. Michael Vick is a head coach right now at Norfolk State. But 15 years ago, would we have believed that, So it can happen.
I remember my buddy had me do a challenge. I walked around right during that scandal and I wore a Michael Vick jersey and he was like, see if you can wear this all night.
What happened?
A half hour, I already took it off. So many people wanted to fight me. I'm like, this ain't worth it.
That makes me think about
you win the bet. You win the bet. I'm like, here's your money. I can't do it.
That makes me think of a line on Wall Street by Gordon Gekko, Spread. He said, wasps love animals more than humans.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. All right, man, let's get into the past, Spread. You did a really good job on the Wisconsin-Nebraska game. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's the same as the Oklahoma game the Nebraska played. I texted my buddy. I almost felt the same way with Wisconsin, too. They're better at everything except for shooting. Right. I mean, like they're better boxing out, better passing, better dribbling, but it's just that shooting is so much to overcome. And I'll be interested to see where Nebraska goes moving forward, because one of the things I do like about them is their shot making is so good that they could win against good defenses.
Right.
Because they're nailing contested shots. Their shot quality is usually much lower than their opponents, and they're still able to get it in. Obviously not like, national title contender, but I do definitely think they can upset the apple cart in conference play. And then of course in the tournament.
They're a good team. They're a great story. Domination by them. Great call by you. Home advantage. We get a little public swing at the end where more people went on Wisconsin side. So it pretty much bore down to basketball like we like to see. And man, they're good in that home gym. So I said before, one of the best college coaches you're going to find. This guy, Fred Hoiberg, was a good NBA coach for Chicago as well. If anyone's going to teach his team how to shoot, it'll be Fred Hoiberg.
Right.
So
it's like they have 5 Fred Hoibergs out there, right?
And he was with Iowa State, and now Iowa State is really good under Otzenberger, who came from UNLV.
Yeah.
And Hoiberg kind of set that team up for him. So he's doing the same thing in Nebraska now, man. He's really setting up. Let's see if he stays in Nebraska and, doesn't go back to the pros. They have a lot of foreign guys over there I like, especially that guy Mast, man. He's 6'10". He was at Bradley. I remember him at Bradley. Now he's came to Nebraska and became a much better player, man. Stretch 4. He went for 17 and 10. This is the best start in their school history. They matched their 1977-78 team. And you look at Wisconsin on the side, second straight road loss for them. I don't worry about them. No, I think that they're a tournament team for sure. I will be most likely using this game. You know, we always talk about no L's, just lessons. So I think I'll be using this game spread to prepare me for the next game. I think Nebraska's flying high 10-0. Now they got to visit Illinois. I don't know what the line is yet. Do you have the line on that game?
What day is it? Sunday?
Saturday.
Oh,
it should be up.
Let me look.
If the
while I looked that up, you had mentioned Iowa State and Fred Hoiberg. Real quick, did you see that game?
I had Iowa. I won first half +5 and money line +210 first half on Iowa. That was a group play for us. We hit that one really big. We actually didn't play the Wisconsin-Nebraska game in the group. Right before it started getting a little, crazy with the number spread, so I didn't see an advantage because you're on the road. It's a 1-point game. Why wrestle with that, Yeah,
especially the strong home court advantage that Nebraska has on that Iowa State game. Obviously, they were coming off, one of the biggest wins,
blowout
in regular season. Yeah. And then, it's nice for them to get the win. I felt they made a statement. I mean, like you said, they lost in the first half. They did make a run, though, to kind of put themselves into it. And then they started a run right at the second half and never lit up. What do you make of that? Is that just like a rivalry thing, a lit down spot? Or maybe do you think that Purdue game was a little bit fluky?
No, Purdue wasn't fluky at all. Iowa State is a Final Four team if they stay healthy. Like, they're deep. Okay. Even when they beat Purdue, I don't even think Lipsy played, if I'm not mistaken. He might have been back for that one, but he's been banged up all year. He's the top guard. He's been starting there for 3 or 4 years, but his backup was played really well for them when they were in the was it the Maui Invitational or something they were playing in, and then they go to Purdue and get the win. That wasn't a fluke by any means. They're a really good program over there. This was a perfect scenario where they're coming off of a big win against Purdue, smelling themselves, and now they got their rivalry coming in Atlanta, 11.5. That's just too much, especially with a brand new coached Iowa team. So they're going against a brand new different scheme when they had the Drake coach that came over there now coaching them, and then that young man that came over from Drake that plays guard, he could shoot the lights off the ball, man, for Iowa. That kid could shoot Stitz, I think is his name, Sturts or something like that. He can really stroke it. So Iowa's a good team too, man. The Big Ten is probably going to get in 7 teams into the tournament, minimum. So
it was funny. Last year, everyone said the SEC is going to take over because they have so much NIL money because of their football programs, but it feels like not this year. I mean, they do have some good teams there, but it's not maybe how people thought as the season ended. I don't think the books are falling for it 5-star. They're not going to overreact. I see Illinois -9.
That means like Illinois. Everybody's taking Nebraska. So everybody going to take Nebraska. That's a blowout spread. I'm going Illinois, I think.
You want Illinois even covering the double digits?
It might be up to 10.5 tomorrow. You know how they do, because what happens? Is it an early Saturday morning game, or is it
like Nebraska's taking money? I think it looks like it's going to move to 8.5 because right now I got +9 +101 -9 -117. So it looks like it's close. I would think a lot of people who watched that game last night would take Nebraska to keep it close.
Yeah, and that's what we want, because you're going to have a swing just for the simple fact that they're just their kids coming off a 30-point win and scoring 90 points. Even in the NBA, if you shoot the lights out, you're a fade the next game. So going on the road, I like Illinois. Illinois probably win that game by 10 points or more. And then on the other side, I'll probably take Wisconsin at home against Villanova, because Villanova isn't that good this year. I watched them.
So Villanova plays Pitt on Saturday. I don't know when that Wisconsin game will be.
Oh, okay. It said that they had Villanova next. That maybe I misread it.
Let me see if Wisconsin's playing tomorrow. That's one thing about college, man. There's a lot of
games. Why the hell did they put up that they were playing Villanova? I thought that looked weird to me. I was like, why are they playing?
Well, that might be their next game. That's just getting done on Saturday. Because I don't see Wisconsin on. I don't see them playing on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm scrolling through though. I might miss it. There is especially this Saturday. There's a bunch of games on the board. But yeah, on Saturday, Villanova is hosting Pitt.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about the NBA. A clean sweep for us. And you were loving the Thunder, and that wasn't even close. I mean, what was it, a 30-point game? I was like 120. I didn't have a lot of eyes on that one, after it was decided. And then the Spurs, hey, and I'll admit it, I didn't do it. The only mistake we made was not sprinkling that money line. I kind of had some fun, as the ultimate Laker hater than I am, as the clips of LeBron being lazy on defense were kind of going around. And it's a tough situation. And we've talked about it before. One of the hardest situations, especially in basketball, I think in football it's a little easier, but is dealing with the aging star, right? And we know that the Lakers had problems with that with Kobe Bryant towards the end there, where this last couple of years the team wasn't really that good.
Right.
And now with LeBron too, you got to convince him to only play 20 or 25 minutes, but he's so addicted to his stats. I don't know if he's going to go for it, because that's going to ruin his points per game and, this and that,
He already lost a little thing this year. I think the scoring 10
the
points.
10 point. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. But he got a game winner by passing the ball on 9. I don't think LeBron cares too much about stats at this point. I think he's already kind of.
If I'm a Lakers fan, I would hope so, because I would try to top him at like 25 minutes at this point and try and get some intensity on defense. This is Luka's team now, and
Luka plays a style that's not going to win championships, and they're about to find it out with the Lakers. It's going to be poetic justice, because Kobe loved James Harden. He loved him. They played in the Olympics together, but he told him, and he's told people in the past, and he knew that from playing under that system that D'Antoni ran. You can't. That's how he tore up his Achilles heel, man. It's overusage. You have to involve players more than just the last second throwing them the ball, a hot potato to shoot a 3.
Yeah.
So that's why the style that they're doing, Luka's going to be the new age Pete Maravich. He's going to be with the Lakers and score 1,000,000 points, but I don't see them winning the championship as long as they continue playing in that style. JJ Redick was supposed to come over there and bring a different philosophy, but all he's done is just take the same things that Luka was doing with Dallas that they got from Harden in Houston in the D'Antoni system, and just doing the same exact thing, man. It's the same thing. They're going to have to involve more of their players. They have some good players over there, and that's why we took the Spurs. Remember I said the Lakers don't play defense. Like, it's not and it all starts with your star. And Luka still, even though he's lost 30 pounds, he doesn't care for defense. LeBron is old, so he doesn't play defense anymore. And when he was younger, he never.
And Reeves is never going to be a good defender. I mean, like, it's not an effort issue with him either. It's almost like Steph. I mean,
yeah.
I never watched Steph and go, he's dogging it, but I see him getting burned. Like, he just doesn't have the, he's never going to be a lockdown guy, The only thing I would say for Luka is, when you do play in LA, you'll get all the mid-level free agents. They might be able to put enough athleticism around him to make up for it. Pretty close there a couple years ago, even though they got smoked.
He's going to have to find some people who enjoy being second fiddle. Now, it's a lot easier for LeBron, Kyrie to do that, and we know why. Because it's a brothers' league at the end of the day. It's one of the sports that's really controlled by black men, man. And it's simple as how, I'm going to be real, as being a guy who's been around athletes, how many guys is he going to be able to find is just going to say, let's go in here and do all we can to make it the Luka show? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be the issue. You have to find these pieces that's going to go around Luka who are happy for him to shine, because all of the problems with these type of teams with this much talent all happen internally. That's where it all starts.
I'm just saying, it's a lot easier to get them, hey, go support Luka in Los Angeles with all these beautiful models, rather than, go support Luka in Minnesota, where we're like, forget this.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see where they're going, but I don't see it for that team this year, especially with the way that OKC's looking. So
OKC is just great, man. They just matched the Warriors. The Warriors had won 24 straight, lost on their 25th game. Now OKC in their first 25 go 24-1, matched them the 2015-2016 Warriors, 15-point lead at halftime. New bar of excellence being set by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. SJ is a great player, bro. And what he did in Oklahoma City, we're going to talk about it a decade from now, because this all just came out the blue, man. It's all from hard work and just, practice, repetition, and just want to win. And I just respect the hell out of everything that kid's doing. And shit, I'm betting them every time they're on the board until they show me something otherwise.
Yeah, well, and that's a little preview for what we'll be looking forward to this weekend. Let's talk about the football real quick too. The talk, I'm a big best ball guy, 5-star. So the talk of the fantasy football world was the Kyle Pitts breakout game. But as me, more of just I do love the fantasy and the best ball and stuff. But just as the team guy, the fact that the Panthers have moved ahead of the Buccaneers in the standings now with that loss was my main takeaway from that game. And I said it in our preview as a reason why we liked Atlanta, or in the discussion we had on Wednesday, was that I don't think Baker's 100%. And you could see it in the game, at least what I thought, because there were some throws you're like, hey, it looks pretty good, right? And then there's other throws and he's not. And, from everyone who has experience, and I don't think you have to even be playing at a high level, even playing on your local high school team or whatever, when you're out there and you're not 100%, you can still do certain things. And then certain times your body isn't there with you. That's what I saw from Baker. So kind of a disappointing performance there from Tampa Bay, but also I think a little bit of bad luck because if there's a healthy Baker, I think they win that going away. Obviously, they have to be a little disappointed in their defense too, because even with that kind of shaky, inconsistent performance from Mayfield, they did have the opportunity to win it, and the defense let them down. It's a Todd Bowles-led team. They're supposed to be built on their defense. I know because of fantasy football and the great weapons they have, we do talk about the offense a lot, but that team was designed to be get stops, run the ball, make pass plays when we need to. And I felt like the defense let them down. Now, not so fast. Like, we can't crown the Panthers yet, right? Because the Panthers have been very inconsistent this year, right? They'll put up a great performance and then they'll lose, then they'll get shut out at home.
Right.
So it's still wide open, but just the fact that we're here and it's week 15 and the Panthers are in first place, I think is a win for Bryce Young and Dave Canales down there in Carolina. What did you see in that Thursday night football game last night?
I don't know how we won it. It was just a pros game. It was a pros versus Joes game in the biggest sense, man. I took the Falcons first half money line. I took them +3. I took them for the game +5.5 and money line. After I started digging into some of the things about this game, some of the angles that I could find, one of the ones that stuck out to me the most was Kirk Cousins' success against Todd Bowles' defenses. He's been really good against Tampa Bay over the years. 3-0 against the Bucks, 1,158 passing yards over that time, 11 touchdowns and only 1 pick. Last night he went for 373. Unlocked Kyle Pitts for the first time. This is the first time I've seen Kyle Pitts look like this since Saturdays in Gainesville. Like, that's the guy that everyone was salivating over coming out the draft. And man, it's a contract year for him. He just made someone believe. I don't know if it's Arthur Blanks, but someone's going to definitely pay him. I love to see him with the Texans. I think that D'Amico Ryans and CJ could get the best out of him, but he's a hell of a player. Great to see my homie Mike Evans back, even though Baker tried to hurt him with a hospital. But he was looking at Baker like, I just want to kick your ass. Like, because at first it took a while for Mike to kind of warm up to Baker. He didn't like him at first, and you could see it on the field with their play. But after he saw that, hey, this guy, has heart and he wants to win, he kind of warmed up to him and they got close. But last night he almost reversed on him again after he almost got him hurt with that high throw. But big game for Mike Evans, goes over 100 yards, and he's been out all season long. Reminds you that he's a Hall of Fame first ballot receiver. Quick question, though, about this game. When the Falcons get the stop late in the fourth quarter, and why did the Bucs throw it on second down right before? Right, it seems like they could have ran the ball and kept the clock moving. Do you know the incompletion I'm talking about? They kind of gave the Falcons a lot of time.
I was kind of zoning out at that point.
I was like, what the hell?
I noticed my memory at the end of some of these games.
It was time. It was like you on your sleep meds.
Yeah, I also had the Rockets -2 last night. I live bet the Rockets -2.
Yeah,
and I'm watching it and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna win this. And then I look up and how did I push on this bet? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
towards the,
crazy.
because I get up real early. I was kind of zoning out there, but explain what you saw there.
Well, I feel like the Falcons never should have touched the ball again, but some bad clock management right there. I feel like by Todd Bowles, and just a horrific interception by Baker, as you said. Maybe it's his shoulder, but it's no way in hell he didn't see that Falcons defensive back dropping in that cover too, and maybe he thought he could get it high over his head and get it to Mike Evans, and his shoulder just gave out at that moment. But they were driving up 14 right there, so just horrific for them. Do you think Raheem Morris saved his job with that game last night?
No, I don't think so. I think they've been too inconsistent this year.
They're always inconsistent, and it looks just like the Bucs team that he coached,
Yeah.
So we'll see how things turn out. Bunch of controversy about the comment afterwards by Bijan Robinson. Did you hear what he said? We used to call that game hot ball when like everybody has the football, and
it was so funny. I heard that and I go hot ball, and then I go in my head, I go, oh, never mind. I played that game too. Yeah,
I never heard what he said that they called it, and he was backtracking this morning because we know it's a different world we live in now. That wouldn't have been anything 5 years. I'm gonna say 10 years ago, but because even 5 years ago, maybe, but I'm gonna say since Obama's administration, it's been a lot more about that type of stuff, about being sensitive to all people and not using certain words that make people feel a certain way, and they have that right too. But I couldn't believe he said it. When he said it, I was like, okay. I never heard that before, but yeah, we called it high ball where I was from. Let's jump into let's jump into the present.
Hey, real quick, remind me. Mike Evans is the reason Johnny Manziel got drafted, right? I'm not.
Yeah,
they
pretty
played
much.
Together.
Yeah,
they played together, right? And he
Mike
just
Evans just
ran around and just threw it in his direction, right?
Mike Evans has been running the same route since Ball High School in Galveston. He just runs straight down the field, throw it high. I'm bigger than the guy taking from him.
Yeah. Manziel got to the league and said, "What do you mean I can't do that anymore?"
Right.
Yeah. Just want to make sure I remembered that right.
Yeah, you were.
All right. Let's move to the present. We got 2 games to talk about. Let's start with tonight. The Timberwolves traveling to Golden State to take on the Warriors. Do you have Anthony Edwards news? I'm assuming that he's playing with his line, but I don't think he's going to be 100%. I've already jumped in on this game. I took the Warriors. This is actually one of those games where I'm betting the home court. I think that if we were playing in Minnesota, I might go the other way. But I can't fade Golden State at home. We know how that arena gets. And in fact, if I'm wrong and they're down at halftime, I'll probably – it's out to 4.5? He must have just gotten – he must have got ruled out then, huh?
Yeah, it's 4.5. No, that's my bad. Let me fix that.
Should I buy back out? I have 1.5.
I feel like if Jalen Clark is going to play, and when Jalen Clark plays, he's not as big as Anthony Edwards, of course, but man, he makes a difference on that team. And Minnesota's 5-1 in their last 6. They've beaten the Warriors 4 straight. It seems like they're really hyped when they play the Warriors, and all of those are kids on Minnesota, and most of them remember the Warriors dominating when they were in high school and college. So they always get up for Golden State. It feels like Minnesota does. So I don't know, man. Timberwolves.
I can get a nice little middle here right now. I can just grab some Timberwolves, and
the T-Wolves are 12-0, man, when Jalen Clark plays. So if he plays over 14 minutes, excuse me. So that's big. He replaced Mike Conley in the lineup, so he's guarding all the point guards. So he's going to harass Steph. Steph's just coming back. He's a little frail. First game back. You remember when he got hurt, he got beat up by the Rockets with the same type of length and strength that Jalen Clark is going to present on defense. 6'4", putting that forehand on him and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not an NBA expert, but I know it's a lot of problems going on with the Warriors. Draymond Green's not going to play for personal reasons. So maybe they're finally sick of his shit over there. He doesn't have, I don't think Joe Lacob can save him anymore. And then You got Horford is out. Jonathan Kuminga's back in the doghouse with Kerr again. So it's a lot of internal stuff going on with the Warriors, man. The Warriors, Steve Kerr, since he played on the Bulls team, held his team a little bit too long. It was because he felt like his Bulls teams got cut off too quick by Reinsdorf. So because of that, he did just the
that's a
opposite
great
with the
point.
Warriors. He did just
I
the
never
opposite
thought
with the
about
Warriors.
that. That's a great point.
Yeah, he did just the opposite with the Warriors, man. And now they're in a bad situation. They could have already started the process. They actually did that one year when they tanked during COVID, but they made the wrong draft pick. They could have took someone else. They ended up taking the wrong guy. So the Warriors are going to have to hit the bottom, hit rock bottom. I don't think Jimmy Butler was ever a good fit there. Too strong of a personality already with Draymond there, and Butler and Draymond are those type of guys that when things aren't going right, you don't want them in your locker room. And when you're not winning and people aren't getting a lot of effort, they're bullies. They're kind of guys that have these, really strong personalities and, really forceful type of dudes, and they make everybody uncomfortable, man. So I don't know what's going on there, but if I'm going to play a side on that game, it's going to be Minnesota.
Yeah, I always love my superstar subtraction. I love betting the team. The first game that the player is out with this line move here, I got a nice little middle too.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to buy back on the Timberwolves with this news. Let's talk about tomorrow night. You might be in attendance. Look for 5-star, maybe in the crowd. But you said it earlier. Are you sticking to it? Are you just laying it with the Thunder? It's -9.5. Have to be a double.
Man, it's not a number big enough right now. I'm going to bet that now because I'm sure it'll be bet up to like 12.5 by tomorrow.
I see 9 offshore right now, so maybe Spurs are getting a little love here.
I don't care. The Spurs, I know Wemby might be back. I don't know. Have they played each other this year? Let me see.
I'll look. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
I can't remember.
I've been watching more college than so I don't have the same memory like I
you're tired of having no bank account.
I mean, I'm tired of just watching like sterile game. It's almost like we talk about doing it for the underdogs in the underground. Yeah. Now to me, the NBA is like pop music.
Right.
Like it's cleaner, it's fresher, right? Like I mean, they are better, right? I mean, but this is kind of like the underground. Like maybe they're not like as talented, but it's real. You get that feeling when you're at the show with 200 people rather than being in the stadium with 30,000 people. That's why I'm like, just even the atmosphere for Nebraska last night, those fans were so excited just to get a win over Wisconsin.
No, they haven't played this year, so the books have a bad number. They're trusting that when Beyond comes back, I'm going to fire away on that one tonight. Okay. And I don't know, why the hell did I put this? This is wrong. Sorry, guys. I must was speeding. This should have been -9.5. Pardon me. Yeah, it's on me. All right, now there we go, 9.5. So what do you think? I know you OKC or nothing, right?
Yeah, just like you said, it's just later. Don't play it when it comes to OKC right now. You're either going to bet on them or you're going to pass on the game. Knicks are taking on the Magic. I think this is an interesting game here. We talked about laying it here. I might be interested in taking the +5. I was really impressed with what I saw from the Magic in their quarterfinal win over the Heat. Feels like they're starting to come together. They got the nice blend of offense and defense. Obviously Knicks deserve to be favored, but 5 points might be a little too much. Which way would you lean in this game?
I have no play actually on that one, and I'm gonna leave that one to you. I haven't researched it out. NBA is the last thing I bet spread. Like
and nowadays you might as well, because even look at this. What if I had bet the Timberwolves early today? I'd been pissed.
Right.
Fortunately, I was on the Warriors. Well, I knew the Ant news was up in the air. I thought he was going to play personally, so that's why I hit it earlier and thought that maybe it might have moved. But yeah, it looks like he's out there. But yeah, I'd say for now, the NBA, you either hit it right at the open. Like I either bet them right when they come out, at night, or right when I get up real early in the morning, or I wait till tip, because I'm either trying to anticipate injury news. Like here, I thought Edwards was going to play, so I said, "Oh, I'll lay it now," and then blah blah blah. But otherwise, you wait till right to tip. It's not. I don't do what you do. I'm not actually watching the shoot arounds like you're watching the warm ups there for the college football.
Yeah, I watched it.
But yeah, I do want to just wait until those lineups are confirmed, and a lot of times that's not until half hour before tip. So okay, no play on the Knicks and the Magic. Maybe you'll see that one too. I actually think that might be a more fun game to go to.
Yeah.
That Thunder game might be pretty boring by the third quarter.
Definitely. It definitely will be. But that one's going to be a good one. Magic, the last time they played the Knicks, I remember I watched the game, and the thing that stuck out to me was that Jalen Brunson was still able to pretty much do what he wanted to do. And also the Magic were in control of the game in that first quarter, and Franz Wagner got hurt. And Franz Wagner is a big piece to that team because the defense he plays, he's so good at doing intangibles. Good passer, makes the right switches, rebounds, can shoot the three, can become the lead scorer if he needs to. So without Franz Wagner, it's always tough for me to bet them. I like Anthony Black, but I like him coming off the bench or being, where his points aren't necessary because he's still a young kid. And sometimes he looks like a future all-star, and sometimes, he doesn't show up, but that's natural for most young kids. So no, I don't think I'm going to bet that. I'm going to watch a little bit and see how the vibe of the game first. Let's talk about the Army-Navy game spread. This is, tradition. Shout out to all the veterans in the chat. Anyone who's tuning in live right now or watching later, we appreciate you for your service. This is a special game every year. Is it still in Philadelphia? I don't think it's in Philadelphia anymore.
Let me double check.
I think they moved it. It was played in Philadelphia forever. I don't think it's played there anymore now. I think they moved it last year.
I don't have it listed here. Let me look it up. But continue with your breakdown. I'll get you where that's at.
This is a tradition like none other. They have the schedule to themselves for this game right here, man. The only other game is going to be the LA Bowl. We'll talk about that later on the night. But in the daytime, the only thing to watch is going to be Army and Navy. Teams both are decent this year, man. Navy obviously is the better team. They're laying the 7, but Army isn't a bad team, man. Even though their record isn't unblemished or anything like that, they're 6-5, which is kind of middle of the pack. They're still a good team, and they're going to always give their best effort when they're playing the midshipmen, man. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. Navy blew out Army last year, laying 6. I don't think that happens this year. Before that, Army had won 2 straight. Jeff Monken, who's Todd Monken's brother, who coaches for the Ravens. Jeff Monken is a good coach, man, and he tends to have his troops ready to play for this game. So I just think in a rivalry this tight, it's just going to be just a few too many points to give. I would not be surprised at all if if Navy does win the game. They have the best offense with Blake Harvard, really good offense. They have a couple of receivers who can make plays down the field, a much more explosive Navy team than we've seen in the past under Coach Brian Newberry. But I just think that Kel Hillams is able to do enough for Army. He became the quarterback in the middle of the season after the starter got hurt, but the starter wasn't really doing a good job passing the ball. Hillams isn't as good of a rusher as the original starter, but he can throw the ball a little bit better. As I said, I trust the ability for Monken to find a way to have the Black Knights fired up for this game and keep it close. I'll probably only play for my official play the first half. I am with dogs. As the game goes longer and longer and longer, dogs tend to have some issues. So I like to get in and get out with them. So give me the first half on this game. I'll take Army plus the 3.5. Did you find out where they're playing this one, that spread?
Yeah, Ant's right. It's in Baltimore. It's in the Ravens Stadium.
Nice.
So they'll be in Baltimore this year.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So they're moving it around.
Well, I was looking it up there. I don't think it matters because it's been a while, but the teams are 3-3 against each other when they played in Baltimore.
Okay, so they played in Baltimore before. It must have been many years
ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the LA Bowl spread.
All right, and this is one I'm excited to see because we got some pretty cool NFL prospects here. I'm excited to see the running back. There's a running back out of Washington that should go pretty high, right? And a wide receiver that should be at least in the second or third round. So Washington's now out to 9.5. I'd seen it at 8.5 earlier. I liked Boise State even at 8.5. Am I missing something there though? Am I kind of, because you watch Boise and they look good against UNLV at home, but obviously this is a higher level of competition here taking on Washington. What do you think here? I haven't bet it yet, but my initial thought here is I want to take the points with Boise State.
Yeah, that's my initial thought as well. I got to find out, make sure everyone's playing, do some work right now. And look, I don't think anyone's sitting out. I think everyone's playing in this game for both teams. I don't see any. Let's see. Oh, it's a lot of people out for Washington. Washington might have some guys that are preparing for the NFL. Just out the most of those, as you said, Jonah Coleman is a really, really good back. Will play on Sundays, but with Madsen being back for Boise State, he gives them juice. He's their quarterback that allows them to open up the whole playbook where they could throw the ball around. Then you got Washington dealing with not only some opt-outs, it's a lot of noise about Jed Fish maybe taking that Michigan job, and as one of the top candidates, I know that if it came available, I'm sure that's where he would want to go with. That's like the top of the top, one of the best jobs in the country to have. So we'll see whether that affects the team. But I know that this is too big of a spread for a mid-major team as good as Boise playing a Big Ten team. Boise is going to be more hyped for this game than Washington is. All right, we know that they're going to want to show people that they belong. Also, under Spencer Danielson, they always have a really good defense over there, or really attacking, aggressive defense. Now, on the back end, I don't know if they're able to stay with the wideouts for Washington. And I'm wondering if Washington's main wideout is playing. I don't see him on right now. It's sitting out Denzel Boston, because Boston can play, man. They won't have an answer for him. He'll be able to score when he wants, but you got to take the 10 points. I push it up to 10. You got Dylan Riley over there for Boise State. He has a problem with protecting the ball. He has a couple fumbles that have hurt the team earlier in the year, but he's a hell of a running back. So just with the line as it is right now, I'd have to be a huckleberry. I'd definitely take Boise State in this one, but I'd probably buy the half point and get them at 10, get a prime number.
Hey, the way this line's moving, you might be able to just wait.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It was at 8 earlier this week. So
Elmore says Boise State's run D is suspect. It definitely is. But the thing is Washington going to have their whole complement of players? And also, what's going to be, how big is their motivation right here, Elmore? Are they coming out with, like, we want to win the LA Bowl by 30 points? Or are they going to come out kind of lollygagging and then try to turn it on in the fourth quarter and win? I suspect more the latter.
Yeah, and that's what's tough about these bowl games, right? I mean,
like, who cares? That,
yeah,
I understand.
It's like a vacation. The season's over.
Yeah.
The main players on Washington are already looking forward to the NFL. They're combine. This is kind of like their last little break almost before, because we know, like, nowadays that combine prep is insane. At least for some of those top talents, because they want to make sure they're running that 40. Working on those other drills, even though it doesn't matter to me at all, right? I mean, some of these players are not nearly as fast as their 40 times would suggest, and other players who have ran mediocre 40s, you watch them on the field and nobody can catch them. So that's the truth about the way things are. Right. Okay, so we're both leaning towards Boise State, but of course your group can see if that's an official play tomorrow night. Let's move to the National Football League. And the first game that we have on the docket is the game that I have a play on. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to get a revenge win in New England. And this bet is basically based off the idea that, number one, I think the Bills were kind of caught sleeping and maybe embarrassed a little when New England beat them at home the first time. And other than that, Bills win. You know, the New England strength of schedule has not been the best. I know they do pretty well stopping the run, but Buffalo has one of the best offensive line rush block win rates of the year. When you watch James Cook, you know, he's a great player, but a lot of that, you know, a lot of times he doesn't get hit till 2 or 3 yards after the line of scrimmage. So he does get a chance to get some momentum too. Obviously, he's taking advantage of it, but that's a whole team there on the offense. And as much as I do like Drake May and what's going on there, Buffalo's got a little more experience, and it's just almost something that I like to do. Between two even teams, I usually like to bet on the team that lost the first matchup. There's a reason between good teams, a lot of these division matchups end up 1-1 at the end of the season, and why these division games are so important. But I think Buffalo will learn from their mistakes, use the tape, see what they did wrong, and bounce back and get the win in New England. Where are you at on this game?
I'm on the Patriots, man. I'm a big believer in Mike Vrabel. You remember before the season started when we talked about on the show what was the biggest offseason movement in the NFL. I told you it was Mike Vrabel going to the Patriots. Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. He's had some extra time to prepare. What does Buffalo do really well on offense? Josh Allen scrambling around and making something happen. That's their go-to play. Like, whereas I like how Josh McDaniel calls plays. Drake May and that Patriots offense have a system. They use a short passing game, and they also can run the ball. They also can hit you deep because on second reaction plays, Drake May can bring some of the playmaking ability that Josh Allen can as well. Whereas in the Bills, if you keep them within structure, as we've seen the Dolphins do, we've seen the Texans do, you see Josh Allen turn over the ball, man. The only thing you have to do is play back, play cover two, and just have a spy on him and make him be patient. And he's going to throw the ball for 5 yards, and you come up and make the tackle, and they're going to get off the field, man. So I just am not impressed with Buffalo as everyone else is. I'm not falling for the lore. I'm hearing that people are saying that they're going to get a Super Bowl to them this year. It might happen because Mahomes isn't there to stop Josh Allen, but I'm not a McDermott guy. I don't think McDermott is a good coach, and I think that Vrabel is. So this is a huge game for New England. They understand that this is where they can lock in the division, and I think that they get it done, man. I think that New England is a better team right now than Buffalo is. I think Buffalo is just Josh Allen. And until they prove me otherwise, I'm going to continue to fade them. So give me the Patriots on this one spread.
All right, we'll see how that one ends up on Sunday. Let's talk about, I'm wondering if we're going to be opposite here too, because I'm taking the dog here when the Los Angeles Chargers head to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. You know, even when the Chiefs were in their heyday, they were never one for covering spreads, right? I mean, you talked about it before, Patrick Mahomes being the company man, and boy, you know, if they were laying 3, you can almost count on the 2-point win, right? So the Chiefs have never been too good at covering the spreads, and just with the way that team is right now, I wonder if it's too much for them to overcome. We saw in the Texans game, and we were both on the Texans last week, but it's kind of the formula. And of course, the Chargers defensive line is nowhere near what the Texans have, but I still think it's good enough to get pressure. And we've seen, you know, as great as Mahomes is, you know, you can't make plays when you have 4 guys, you know, only 2 seconds to throw, guys in your face right off the bat. And we know that Kansas City can't run the ball, and that might be the downfall of their offense as of late. Not only are they not pass blocking, the rush blocking is pretty weak, and it's not like Kareem Hunt or Pacheco is a game breaker at this point in the season. I'm surprised Rashard Smith hasn't got more run there just because they need some more explosiveness. Chargers seem to be coming together at the right time here. You know, would I be surprised if the Chiefs won? No, but 5.5 seems like too much. I'm taking the points here. What's your play here?
Man, this line is screaming as a bettor that we should be taking the Chiefs on here. But it's impossible for me, being a guy who's made so much money off the Chiefs in the last 7-8 years, to not be able to see clearly that they're not the same team. And they have a lot of the same players, but they aren't playing as a cohesive unit together as they have before. And I think that starts with Mahomes is unhappy with Andy Reid. When the two head guys aren't seeing eye to eye, it's not going to work. And I think that Mahomes is feeling like Andy Reid's play calling and the stuff that they're doing offensively is getting a little stale. And, you know, he's heard the same voice since he's been in the league. And now, you know, it's just like your parents. When you get a certain age, your dad, it gets a little irritating hearing him, what he's talking about. And then when you get older, you come back and realize what he was telling you. And now you're like, oh, Dad, I'm sorry, man. I understand what you're saying. But at that time, when you're at your height, you're hitting your 20s and 30s and you want to be your own man. You're like, man, I'm tired of hearing this. Every day he's telling me this and this. I'm just my own guy. And I think that's what's going on behind the scenes with Kansas City, man. I think that it would be a really
We saw that with Brady and Belichick too.
Yeah. Yeah.
After a while, Brady's like, bro.
Right. I can't do anything.
Stop screaming at me every day. Like we're winning, like.
And we know Andy Reid is known for coaching Mahomes really hard. Everyone knows that. He does it in practice, and that's why he's reached the heights he has. But I think that relationship is splintered, man. And I think that's what we're seeing on the field. We're seeing a lot of disrespect towards Andy Reid that we had never seen in Kansas City before. And it all started with, remember, Travis Kelce on the sidelines in the first game, barking at him like a dog and, talking crazy to him. And it'll be best, I feel like, if Andy Reid rides off into the sunset, retires, and says, hey, I've done it. I'm a Hall of Famer. I was great in Philadelphia. I was great in Kansas City, because I don't know if this can be fixed. Maybe they go the route of firing the OC, who's not a good offense coordinator, and going in and bringing somebody back. Maybe they go get my guy that used to coach Philadelphia for Monroe. What's my guy's name?
Peterson.
Peterson. Maybe they go get Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson. Maybe Bieniemy can come back, but the guy that's in there now isn't working. So
who you're talking about now is Matt Nagy, and I have a question for you, because my buddy texted me this during the Houston game, and I actually didn't have the answer. He goes, dude, it looks like Matt Nagy's calling the plays, and usually when a coach turns over play calling duties, it's kind of announced, and we all know about it. It happened earlier this year. I can't remember who. One of the offensive coaches did it, right? Or when Dan Campbell took it over, right? He announced it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm calling the plays now. What did this happen before the Texans game, or did that just happen that night? And why would Reid not be calling the plays? I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a disconnect going on there, because if I'm coaching Kansas City right now, I'm going, hurry up. I'm letting Mahomes go to the line and choose what he wants to do, and we're going to figure out ways to get Rashid Rice uncovered. He's just as good as any other number one receiver in the league if they feed him enough and feed him right. Reid has him in the backfield running the ball and shit. I don't know what's going on. And Kelce, who was a huge part to what they did, they haven't changed the offense to make up for the fact that he's finally, gotten a little bit too old. And he's made some real blunders this season that have turned into interceptions, balls right in his hands from Mahomes. And now you see him and Mahomes aren't talking like they used to on the sidelines. If you notice, used to be, if something happened, Kelce and Mahomes over there with the pad out talking, like they don't even talk to each other on the sidelines now. So it's a lot going on. I think Mahomes is like, I'm the young dude. I'm out here fighting for my legacy. I've been carrying you bums, but now you bums can't keep up. So now I need a new regime with me that's going to be on my level and take me to the next heights, because I'm trying to catch Brady, and he's pissed. So with all that said, I like the Chargers money line. I think that the Chargers go in there and win plus 200.
All right, nice to be on the same side on that one. This next game I don't have a play on, but I know that it's a team that you like a lot. I talked about the Carolina Panthers going into first place with Bucks loss. But if there's anything that the Panthers have shown this season, right, is that when things are going well, they find a way to mess it up.
Exactly.
And going against a division rival in a stadium where, hey, I got to give the Saints fans credit, right? They still support the team, even though I don't know if the product has been worth supporting recently. However, I think they might have the right guy there. In Kellen Moore. And after this breakdown of the game, do you think they have the right guy in Tyler Shuck? They seem to believe so. I don't know if I'm sold on him yet, but it feels like that the Saints are going to run Shuck for at least one more year. Seems like Rattler's out. I don't know what Rattler did to really deserve to lose that job. So it'd be interesting to see if he moves on or if they just continue to try to keep developing him. But I didn't have a play on this game. The Panthers seem to be the better team this year, but like I said, they haven't been trustworthy as favorites this year. So I don't know if I can trust them going on the road to New Orleans. What are your thoughts?
They've been pretty good on the road this year, 3-4. But the problem is, this is a division matchup. Is Tyler Shuff just can protect the ball. That's why I had issues with him going all the way back to when he first got to college. I've watched him play at Texas Tech, Oregon, and Louisville. He fits all of the measurements. He's just like Daniel Jones. He's a guy that's like 6'4", fast as hell, straightforward, big arm. Sometimes he has splash plays where you're like, wow. But it's the consistency. He also makes some really bonehead mistakes and bad interceptions where people have no problem. Coaches have no problem with quarterback making a mistake where he's trying to make a play. But when you're afraid and just doing stuff where you're panicking is the problem. He has a lot of panic plays where it's like, it's a hot potato. Get this shit out of my hand, and that's the issue I have with him. But if he cleans it up, he might be okay, because it's some guys that I really respect in the league who we kind of always see the game the same, who liked Tyler Shuff, and I didn't. But it's a difference between NFL coaching and you got a really high-level coach in Kellen Moore who played the position at Boise State and played it so well that they were able to lift themselves up into. That's really when it was a huge difference in between, the smaller mid-major schools and the top 5 conferences, and he was able to lift his team up. So he's had a hell of a career and really understands the game from both sides. So he's always the type of coach you want helping a quarterback. I would have loved to see him working with Shador in New Orleans. I think it would have been lights out. I think they would have scored so many points together. But they take Tyler Shuff, and that's what you have to live with. I think that the Saints are going to win this game. If you see the market,
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, the market is saying the Saints are going to win this game. One, the Dome is a house of horrors for Bryce Young. He's played terribly against the Saints. I think he's 1-4, 1-5 against them in his career. And the defense for the Saints have been playing really good of late. They've been playing good, man. And they got a guy over there from the Chargers who helped kick the damn extra point as the DC, and he's a much better DC than he is. Yeah, he's a much better DC than he is as a head coach, Brandon Staley. So good young staff with the Saints, man, with an ex-coach of Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore, who's won a Super Bowl as an OC and been at a couple stops, including the Cowboys. Now it's just how much can they get out of Tyler Shuff. I just like how the Saints are playing. Even though they're 3-10, they're playing with a lot of energy, man. When I watch them play, like, they're giving effort, man. And at home, that's the great thing about betting pro football late in the season. You don't have to worry about effort from the players because everyone's trying to put up good tape to keep a job and keep their families living in the suburbs and being able to pay these bills. So I think the Saints is the play on this one. I'd probably buy it up to 3, but I will not be surprised at all if the Saints win this game, because even after the Bucs lost, if you notice, the market says that they're still favored to win the NFC South. So they're saying Carolina's going to lose some of these games, and it might start right here.
Yeah, and I might wait on that one too. I won't be surprised to see the Panthers take some money. Of course, there's going to be a lot of positive press, and people are going to make a lot of big deal about them being in first place. So we usually see a worst to first type scenario, and maybe a lot of people thinking that Carolina could be that team. But like I said, definitely a tricky, trappy game. Last thing I want to say about Kellen Moore is if you really want to see how good a coach he is, just watch Philadelphia's offense last year to this year, right? I mean, it's a difference between like Madden 2025 and Tecmo Bowl, right? I mean, they look like they're running 4 plays out there right now, right? Run up the middle, run to the right, fly route. They don't have a lot going on there, and you can see. I would go this far to say I think that if the Eagles still had Kellen Moore, that they would be my favorites to win the NFC. I think they could. I know the Rams look great, but I think that they would be that good. I think that's how much they miss him and his play calling. And I don't know the man's name off the top of my head right now. Who's calling plays for Hurts, but I don't think that he understands what Hurts and this offense needs.
Kevin Patullo.
Yeah. I mean, he'll probably be back being a quarterback's coach or a passing game coordinator next year. Because
so crazy. Nick Sirianni this is his second time doing it. He won't get a third, so he better learn how to hire coordinators. Him
I mean,
and
one thing that's hard too, and then I've heard people criticize Jalen Hurts. The guy's had 6 different systems in 6 years. The guy's
that
never
shit was
run
just
the same.
fluky though. The last game he had some guys. He was high for a couple of those interceptions, but that one where he threw the interception and then got the ball back and fumbled it.
And then fumbled it.
I was like, bro, you made forever. You on the bloopers highlight with that one, bro. Like he's never
Yeah.
going to get away from that ever. Like this going to
No, but I think when we talk about Jalen Hurts and really like his legacy, we got to give him credit because the guy's never gone into camp knowing his system. You know, I mean, think about what an advantage that is, you know, for a guy like Patrick Mahomes, for a guy like Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love's only played in one system his whole career, used one set of verbiage his whole career.
Yep.
You know, and really, I got to give more credit. I'm a big Jalen Hurts guy. I'm a big fan of him, even though he's struggling this season. So
he's a super solid guy, the type of guy you want leading your team. This is the NFL. Everybody with this new social media stuff is so they want everything perfect. They want everything, and they can't wait to bash you, can't wait to laugh at you. But I come from a time, and with the business that we do spread as being sports bettors, that you have to look long term. You have to look big picture. And big picture, what the hell can you say bad about Jalen Hurts? He's a second round draft pick, and he's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and both times he could have been the MVP. He has 1 Super Bowl MVP trophy. It's only been 50. What now? 50? What is it? 50? What Super Bowl is 54, 53? Only 50 some odd players in the whole.
I still remember you yelling at me because I told you we bet on the Chiefs that one, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't care about the money. I started rooting for Jalen Hurts. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell are you doing?
It was such a cool story, though.
No
he played so well in that game. All right, we talked about the Rams being the best team in the NFC, but I think this could be a trappy spot for them here. 5-star. Yes, they're laying 6 against the Lions, and maybe they do cover, right? They have been the best team in the NFL, definitely in the NFC so far this season. And of course, when you are laying points like a 6-point spread, you want to have the offense. And the Rams do have the balanced offense to do that. You know, we can give enough praise to Sean McVay, and he would deserve all of it. The GM for the way they've retooled that defense, basically with draft picks. I think they've spent, you know, they like the 23rd amount spent on defense. It's not like, you know, they're relying on these huge big name players. But I don't know, man. I can't count the Lions out. They've always done well as underdogs against the spread. And this just feels like, you know, Dan Campbell, like Mike Tomlin, same situation, right? This is the time I want to back him when he's an underdog, when nobody believes in his team. Of course, some concerns, you know, we talked about offensive coordinator drop-offs, and the Detroit Lions have definitely had that. And also, you know, another similarity to the Eagles is some offensive line injuries as well, which probably makes the coordinator's job tough. I wonder if the coordinator's sitting there like, well, you know, of course I look worse.
Right.
You know, I'm missing 3 of my offensive linemen, you know, and that could be a situation there this week. I have not played it yet, but the only way I could look here is taking the points with the Lions. What do you think, man? Am I overlooking this Ram team that's been a buzzsaw so far this season?
No, and you remember before the season, I picked the Rams to win the NFC. You remember we talked about that, and I said I really liked McVay. I felt like Devontae Adams being added to that team was just going to put them over the hump, man, because now you got Nakua, and you know they're going to beat you to death with him, but now they have, just like when they had Cooper Kupp and they added Odell Beckham, now they got that one guy who's really a receiver one as well that can hit you over the top, and one of the most underrated still quarterbacks in the league in Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is out there doing no looks and shit. Nobody don't even see it or talk about it unless you really watch film. You know, like Matt Stafford is really good, man. And I think that he wants to win the Super Bowl this year and retire with his homeboy, Kershaw. I would not be surprised if Stafford won the Super Bowl and retired on top this year, even though he has a lot of football left in him. I just saw the way he was acting when Kershaw was retiring. You know, they've been buddies since grade school. He was looking really like, man, this is what it's about, you know, like wrapping this shit up, you know. So I think that Stafford is the MVP this year, well deserved. I'll be playing the lines with you if I play a side on this one. There's still a little bit of time left for the market to shake out. I definitely will be on the over. It's going to be some fireworks. It's going to be some points scored. That's the only way Detroit can win right now. Like, they haven't showed me anything else, and you're on a fast surface over there in Inglewood. So, yeah, this one is an over. It would be my main play on it. Over 55.5. I think it does get there because I think it's a game that can end like 34-30 Rams, 33-30 Rams, 31-28, Rams, with them winning maybe back with a kick at the end. But the Lions are going to come to play. They have some competitive guys over there, starting with Jared Goff, who we know can't stand. He can't stand McVay because McVay was his buddy and just replaced him and kicked him to the curve. And you got some really, really competitive dudes in David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown was freaking couldn't walk and play and almost went for 100 yards receiving. Like Jameson Williams, all those guys are competitive, man. The Lions aren't going out weak. They're not, going out without a fight. So, yeah, they know they have to win right now. They're trying to fight to get into the playoffs. I think that we get a good effort by the Lions in here. So it'd be the over for me, and the Lions would be the play.
Speaking of J-Mo, I saw an interview with Devon A-Chain, right? Mm-hmm. And they were asking him, who are you faster than, right? And like the first one they said was like Jalen Wright. And he was, like, what are you talking about, right? He goes, Tyreek. He goes, I can't beat him in a 40. Right. He goes, he too fast right off the bat. He said, but you give me 100 yards.
I got him. Okay. Yeah, he's a track guy.
And then they brought up J-Mo, and he kind of hesitated. He said, ooh.
Yeah, Gibbs got some different speed, man. And the speed he has with the elusiveness. And that's the thing. Like, Shane has some moves, like quick cuts. But, man, Gibbs, oh, man, it's poetry in motion one. He's the most aesthetically pleasing running back in the league to watch.
Right now, yeah, that could be true. All right, let's talk about the game of the week. And this one, you talked about pros versus Joes. I think this is going to be it. And it's a tough click to make 5-star because everyone's going to look at this game and they're going to see, Matt LaFleur and all that hair gel on the sideline. They're going to see Jordan Love.
That's my boy. My boy.
He's objectively better than Bo Nix. And I know that Bo Nix is a tough click, but, Trent Dilfer won games too. Alex Smith won games too. There is part of just being part of your system and relying on the defense. And this might be one of the few games that the Packers go into where they're not the better defense on the field. I actually like that Broncos defense a little more. So I think everybody's going to be on the Packers. I haven't played it yet, but another one, I hate to sound like a broken record here, but if I'm playing this game, I'm going for the dog here. I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm going to hope the Packers get bet out a little more and then I can catch 3. I'm seeing 2.5 right now. But I probably only see this one way. I haven't heard a lot of people liking the Broncos here. And I really think that's just because it's hard to believe in Bo Nix, especially coming up against such a polished quarterback such as Jordan Love. What are your thoughts here? Is this the one where you think, we always say it, the public wins sometimes, right? It's not like, they lose every single bet or no one would go to the casino, right? It's, public bettors, they win 44, 46% of the time, not enough to be profitable long-term, but it's not like you can't bet favorites and win, especially in the new NFL. What are you looking at here when the Packers take on the Broncos?
Excuse me. 2 of my favorite coaches. You know how much I respect Sean Payton because he brought winning to my Saints that I grew up as a fan watching KNOE in Monroe, Louisiana. They played the Saints every Sunday. And then you got Matt LaFleur, excellent coach, has groomed Jordan Love. Love the adjustments that he made initially when the offense was looking pretty bad after they lose Tucker Kraft. And they make some adjustments. And now they're looking like another, Packers offense that we've seen before out of the floor. Jordan Love's back getting chunk plays. That's what we've always liked about him at quarterback. That's why when Aaron Rodgers' last 2 seasons, we were on the show, we were only talk about, I like to see Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love would be a much better guy in Matt LaFleur's system because Aaron Rodgers has got to the point in his career where he was just hard-headed. He wanted to do what he wanted to do in his career instead of running the plays. But we see that Jordan Love does run what Matt LaFleur calls. I'm leaning toward the Packers in this one, probably money line. And the reason why is because Matt LaFleur is 16-0 in December. It doesn't get
Yeah.
any better than that, And I think that Packers defense is revving back up. It's getting back confident like it was at the beginning of the year that, hey, we can win these games by ourselves. And they're going to be really fired up because the Broncos are right there with the Texans as considered the best defense in the league, right? So I think that we're going to see a supreme effort from the Packers defense, and I think they can get Bo Nix a couple times. Jordan Love is prone to turning the ball over as well, but I think that some type of way LaFleur figures out a way, whether it's running Jacobs, running the screen game, he's going to figure out a way to move the ball enough. And I just think that the Packers is going to take over. Now, if Sean Payton had the right type of running backs, with them having a kid back there and R.J. Harvey, and he lost his starting running back, and not having a real, they're drafting running back next year for sure. I don't know what Javonte Williams and him had beef about, but that's exactly who they're missing right now at running back, because then Sean Payton could do what we've seen him do before, shorten the game, use his back, throw the ball to his back. He can't do that really with R.J. Harvey and trust him. So until then, I think that the Broncos currently are playing over their head. Like, they have a really sound defense, a solid coach, had an easy schedule, and they're just, he's outsmarting guys. They won a couple close games. They lost a couple close games, but they're a really solid team, but not as good as their record says. And I think that the Packers kind of exposed that this week, because the Packers have to win this game. So give me the Packers money line on this one, man. Just because, as I said, I'm not going to fade 16-0 in December with Matt LaFleur.
Fair enough. One interesting thing I'm looking forward in that game, and another reason why I was looking at the Broncos originally, is we've seen how much Christian Watson has meant to that team as he's come back. When Tucker Kraft went out, Love had a couple pedestrian games. Watson comes back in the lineup. It's a different type of player. Obviously Watson's a lot more explosive plays there, but I thought that he really was one of the differences in that game in the win over the Bears. Peyton and who is it over there? What's the guy's name running the defense? He was a head coach before.
For who? For the
Denver.
For Denver. Oh man, he was the coach of the Dolphins or Denver. I know
he was the coach of Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph. Anyway, if Vance Joseph, it puts Surtain on Watson. I'm going to be curious to see how the Packers generate offense. One thing I might be looking at there, because that's what I would do if I was the Broncos.
You'd hope that if they do that, they're going to lose the game, because Christian Watson isn't really anything but a clear-out receiver. It's just that.
Would you put him on Jaden Reed instead then, or just have him line up on whoever?
He better, because if he doesn't, that's what's going to kill him. With Jaden Reed back, Jaden Reed is the best receiver on that team. We know that. We've been betting on Jaden Reed since Michigan State. He's the playmaker on that team when it comes to the passing game. You can't trust big head ass Dobbs. And is the young boy from Houston back? He's playing this game. Matthew Golden, is Golden playing?
I mean, who knows? He plays every game. He doesn't do anything.
Okay, so he stopped. So that means
I don't know what happened with him.
Love don't trust him anymore. That's what that is.
Yeah.
If Reed back, Jordan Love don't give a damn, because Reed is going to replace Kraft. Kraft replaced Reed because Reed got hurt.
Yeah.
When all things go fail, Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love call plays for Jaden Reed. You know that. They love him, and he comes through because he has great quickness in the box, but he's one of the few receivers that's a slot receiver that can also go deep and make plays in high point. Really, really talented player. So, yeah, I'm looking towards the Packers as long as Jaden Reed's there. And I'd be so happy as someone who's backing the Packers if they decide to follow him with Surtain.
Well, and that would be my final point. When you're watching the game, if you have live player props available, I would, if you see that Surtain is shadowing somebody, I would just bet the opposite. If he's shadowing Reed, I'm betting Watson yards over. If he's shadowing Watson, I'm going to bet Reed receptions over. I won't worry about the yards, but if Surtain is shadowing Watson, Reed's going to get like 10 targets. So that would be my final thoughts on that game. And of course, that'll be important. What would be interesting is if the Broncos do get the win, how the discourse around that team changes, because for what is their record? 11-2. We don't really give them much respect. I'm wondering what they have to do. And this might be the win for it. So, hey, I'm going to add one more on here, though, 5-star here before we get into our ball and parlay tonight. Another one that I'm interested in the underdog. One buddy, though, who watches college basketball, warning me not to do it. Want to get your thoughts. Texas taking on UConn tonight. I see the line as high as 14.5. Do you think that's too many points? The coach for Texas is Sean Miller that used to play at Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Or coach at Arizona. He's always done pretty well against UConn, at least as far as covering spreads. Do you think Texas has covered this one, or am I being a little greedy and underestimating how good Dan Hurley's boys are?
This is a stay away from me, because anytime I see two programs who are national names and it's this big of a spread, it seems to me the books are begging you to take Texas, right? So, but I also know that Texas is talented enough to stay within the number with UConn. My problem is I don't like Sean Miller. I feel like that was a bad hire for Texas, one of their worst that they've had. Yes, man. Okay. Sean Miller isn't that good of a coach.
Why? Because you think he's all recruiting and not coaching?
His little brother's a better coach than him. They should have got the little brother who's over at Rhode Island now that used to coach Dayton. I just I don't like Sean Miller, man. I don't know why. I just don't feel like he ever gets the results of the talent that he puts on the floor. You know, they had the perfect coach, but unfortunately for Chris Beard, whatever happened with him was another situation with these dudes are thinking with their little head. He's dealing with a female and she gets him fired by calling the police and saying he beat her up. Ends up that he didn't do anything to the lady and she just was trying to get his job. But Texas had to do what it had to do at the time and fired him, hired an assistant, and he's not a guy big enough for their job. And they missed out on building something really special because Chris Beard in Texas was big. And him at Ole Miss isn't the same. He can't get the same guys to come to Mississippi they could have got to come to Austin, man.
All right, let's move on to the ball and parlay. We talked about a lot of games, but what's your favorite play for the weekend?
Okay, so I'm going to make a play for tonight. I gave it our last game. So I think that tonight we got some FCS football. I love FCS college football. And I think that tonight that some type of way, the boys from Texas go to Montana and keep the game within the number. Montana State's a really good team, good quarterback that transferred over there from Stanford. Brett Vegan has done it for a long time up there in Bozeman. Let me see what the weather is up there because it was saying that it was going to be snowing tonight, but I haven't checked it since Wednesday. Let's see, Bozeman, Montana. What are we looking like? Oh, we might be okay. 40 degrees, 8 miles per hour wind. Okay, so yeah, they got too much talent on the outside at SFA for them to get blown out. Now it's ticked over a half to 14.5. I got to be a huckleberry. So give me Stephen F. Austin tonight plus 14.5. And then also, I think I'll do a little college basketball for Saturday if I can find the line on it that I was looking for. Let's see if we can find the line. What was the game I was looking for? Houston is an auto bet against New Orleans first half. I think it's like minus 17.5. That one is for sure. NC State will be hosting Kansas, and the line is only minus 1.5. As long as Darren Peterson plays, Kansas money line will be my play. I don't think that NC State is a quality enough opponent to beat Kansas. So give me Kansas in that one. And also I'm going to lay the 9 with Illinois spread. I think that Illinois beat Nebraska by 10 points or more. So Illinois minus 9, Kansas money line plus 120 at NC State. And then we're going to roll with FCS Stephen F. Austin tonight at plus 14.5 against Montana at Montana State. No snow, so we might see a good effort by the Jacks.
All right, I'm going to the NBA. I don't have much of a handicap here, kind of a numbers play here, but the Atlanta Hawks quietly flying under the radar since Trae Young went out, and I think maybe they see the writing on the wall. This should be Jalen Johnson's team. Let's build around some athleticism here and build on some length. And the team has been playing really well defensively, which is something you would never say about a Trae Young led Hawks team. It's like almost like that injury saved Snyder's job. I don't know if Snyder's necessarily that good a coach. But with the players he has right now and their ability to play defense, I think they keep it close. Detroit Pistons are one of the great stories in the league, but I think the Hawks keep it as close. Give me the Atlanta Hawks +7.
The Atlanta Hawks. You heard spread. Guys, we appreciate you. Good to be back in here with you guys for another, week, man, of the Wagering World. The season is getting down to the best part. I call the show ROI because it's time for return of investment on this college football. We put in the work all year watching these games. We're pretty familiar with all the teams now, man, and it's time. It's go time. Right now we got the bowl games coming up in the FCS. We got the playoffs. We got the playoffs coming up in the FBS next week, and I can't wait to talk about it. Anything for the people spread before we get out of here?
Man, great day of college basketball tomorrow. I can't wait. I should have some more questions for you on Monday after I get some takeaways, because we got a lot of the top teams playing against each other, and I can't wait to see how all this plays out. And it's pretty cool that they're loading up the college basketball schedule on kind of the quieter day, right, for college football, because Army, Navy in the morning, and then we'll have Washington in the evening. But then next week, right, is when the college football will really start kicking off as far as the games that we're really going to start handicapping. So a lot of good stuff going on in the world of sports right now, and excited to talk to you about it.
Yes, definitely, man. It's a great thing. All right, man. So I got my alma mater back in Monroe, Louisiana, Ouachita Parish High School. They're playing in the state championship, first time since when I was in school that they've been there, man. It's been a long drought, but now they're heading there, man. They're going to play football for it all, man, and they'll be playing an old rivalry from District 258 that we played all the time, Ruston High School. Ruston's been in 4 straight state championships, Ouachita in its first in over 20 years, man. So go Lions. Best of luck to all of you guys on Ouachita Lions team, man. Let's bring that championship home back to Monroe and beat the hated Bearcats from Ruston. All right, man. I appreciate you all for tuning in. It's always us versus the machine. You see what my guy Steven says, let's get this money, F the machine. That's what we preach out here, man. It's always us versus the machine, man. Hey, man, we're going to continue to do this for the underground and the underdogs, man. Let's have a great betting night tonight. As always, I dedicate this show to the greatest Houston sports fan I know. That's my father, John H. Lindsay. Let's sweep the board tonight, fellas.